Alright, welcome back. In this video, we are going to take a look at Go packages and documentations so that we can save our deck of cards to a file on our computer. Um, so there's going to be a few things we need to do to get that to work. But first, let's open up Visual Studio Code. No PowerPoint slides in this video. If you open up your deck.go file from the last video, it should look like this. I didn't add anything to it. So I'm going to create a function right here with no implementation for now for our function to save our deck type to a file on our hard drive. So I'm going to make it a receiver function so that only deck types can use it and call it. I'm going to call it save to file, and it's going to take I'm going to have one parameter, and it's going to be the file name. So if this file, so it's going to save this deck file to the current directory of where your deck.go file is. And in that directory, if you don't have a file with the file name that you're going to pass an argument for this parameter, then it will just create a file with that name. So let's just call this parameter file name here. And it's going to be a string type, and then we'll return an error if there's a failure in saving our deck to a file. So we'll just leave it at that for now. We save that. So let's go over to the Go documentation really quick. To save some time, I already know which package I should be looking at. But if you navigate to this URL here, and then you look through the package list, and what we want is in the IOUtil package, so we're going to go there, and then as you see here, there's a function called write to file, so that's what we're trying to do here, so we click that, and then it says here that for us to use this function, we need to give it a file name, which is a string, a slice of bytes, and a permission. So, and the function returns error, which is why, because I'm going to be calling this function inside our save to file function, which is why I have this error return here and this file name parameter. Because we're going to pass this into the go write to file function here for this, and then whatever this function returns, I'm going to return it here. So now we can't use this right away because we have a problem here. It takes a slice of bytes. And if you can recall, our deck type is a slice of strings. So we need to change our slice of string type here to a slice of bytes. And if you recall from a previous video where I showed you how you can cast variable types, it's not as simple as that in this scenario because a slice of strings is, well, strings at certain indexes, and a slice of bytes is, well, not strings, they're bytes, so they're like characters. So if we take out the term slice for now, and think in terms of arrays, so we have an array of strings, and then we have an array of characters per se. Those aren't something you can just use for variable casting to do. So what we have to do is convert our string of our slice string into one big string. So we take every string in our slice, so every card in our slice, and we just concatenate all of those individual strings into one large string. And then at that point, we can convert that one big string to a slice of bytes, because then every character in that one big string is an index in that slice of bytes. So the order of operations of what we do here is take our deck, which is a string slice, each index represents a card, and take all of those cards and put it into one large string. So we'll create a function to do that, and I'll call that function. It's also going to be a receiver function. I'm going to call that function toString. And we don't need any parameters here, and we're going to return a string because we want to return one big string. And in here, what we have to do is use a package function. So if we go back to the Go package documentation here, back out of here for a second, and we go to the string package. Where is it? Right here, strings package. And you look for the function. Function should be join, I believe. Right here, function join. So as you can see, this function here concatenates the elements of A referring to a string splice to create a single string. So that's exactly what we want to do. We have a deck type, which is pretty much a string splice, and we want to take it and create a single string out of it. So we are going to use this function. Alright, so going back to Visual Studio Code, in here, we can do return strings dot join, and then D for the deck, the string slice. And then what was the second parameter? I think it was the separator. Yeah, it's a separator. Okay, so it's saying what do you want to separate each string in the splice with. So I'm just going to put a comma in between all the cards. And that's pretty much it. Yep. Cool. And to see that this works, we'll test it out in the main function, but I'm just going to return an error here because it's giving me a red squiggly because I don't have a return here. It's not expression. Let me just comment this out for a second. We don't need that right now. Okay, so if I go up here and down here, I will do cards.toString. Let me make sure this is correct first of all. Yes. Oh wait, there's one mistake here. So this will give a error because the function, as you can see, is taking a string splice variable, but I'm passing in a deck type variable, so I need to cast that to a string slice. So we'll do that. Okay, there we go. Now that should be good. Oh, capital S. Oops. Okay, so now we go here and we call our toString function. So that should, oh wait, I guess I should assign something. I'll just call it big string. So then if we call the card.toString, it returns all the cards as one string, and I'll just assign that string to this variable here, and we'll print it. Okay, print line big string, and then we'll go down here and run it. Go run deck.go, and as you can see, we have our one big string printed, and you can see that each card is separated by a comma because I used the comma as the separator here. So now we know that our toString function works. So that means now we're able to use the IOUtil write to file function. So let's uncomment this, and that function in its documentation shows that it returns an error. So I will just write return here, and then IOUtil. Did I spell that right? IOUtil, yeah. Dot write to file, and let's check out the parameters we need, or what arguments we need to pass here. Okay, special, whatever. So the first one is the file name. So we'll just pass this in here, and then, as I said before, the file name doesn't exist. It'll create the file for you, and then we need to pass in our byte slice. So to do that, we first need to convert our deck to one string. And now that it's one string, we can cast this to a byte slice. And then the third argument for the write to file function, if you look at the documentation, it is a permission, which is a os.filemode type, and we're going to use 0666. And it pretty much means that everyone has read-write access. So we'll pass that, because we want to be able to read and write this file. So that's the permission. Okay, save that. Should be good to go. Right. I'm gonna remove. Actually, I'll just keep that there. Okay, so now actually, so if I pull up the directory of where this file is, there's nothing in here. There's just this deck.go file that I'm at right now. So let's do cards.save to file. We'll pass in the file name. I'll call it test file. And then we need to pass in our byte slice. So I will do cards.toString. Well, actually, no, I only need to pass the file name because I'm doing it the thing right here, conversion. Okay, so that should be it. Oh no, it returns an error, so we should check if there's an error returned. So if cards.save to file equals nil, that means there's no error, then we can do a print line and say that deck saved successfully. And then if there's an error, then we can say error in saving deck. Great. Now let's run it. So as you can see, it says deck saved successfully, so that means no error was returned. And if we look at our directory now, we have a new file called test file, which I called up here. And if we open it, just use Notepad, you can see that our deck was saved to the file. So, yep, so that's how you can, or that's how we can save our deck of cards to a file on a computer. And to recap, the order of operations was to first take our string slice, convert it to one large string so that we can convert it to a byte slice, so that we could use the io.util write file function. And to get that one big string, we had to use the strings package and the join function in there. So in the next video, we will read a deck from the file now. So we have our deck saved to a file, but now we want to read that file back into our code and get that deck back. So we're going the opposite direction pretty much. And then we are also going to write a function to shuffle our deck and to deal cards out of the deck. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video.